Welcome everyone. I'm here. welcome. It's going crazy. The doggle's going crazy. All right, welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and start this live. Hopefully the music is not too loud. There should be a good balance between the music and my voice. Hopefully. Okay, hopefully. Great evening to you too, Dion. The audio is fine? Alright, perfect. Okay, the music and voice is pretty awesome, awesome. So hopefully everything's balanced out, and is everyone else able to hear me correctly here? Hopefully. I mean, you guys still should be able to hear the music and my voice. If the music's too loud, just let me know. My metrics here are telling me that it should be balanced here, so I should be fine. Just let me know if the audio and the music is, or my voice and the music is well balanced or not. Let's see. Okay. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and start with SPY futures. So, as you guys already know, first of all, let's talk about the bigger picture here, right? We're seeing a nice descending channel here, right? We've now actually let me actually put some arrows here. So circles, my missed circles. So what we have here right now is we now have 3 touches on this descending level of resistance, right? But we've had a lot more, okay, way more touches on the descending level of support. All right, I mean, this whole area right here is a bunch of touches, and we touched it again down here. Okay, well, sort of, but the fact that we came back down to the support again, which is a lot more touches than this resistance, tells me that there's a possibility that the price wants to go lower, because, well, if we take a look at the retests of these points here, these points of interest, right? This resistance, you can tell that the price it's not staying near this resistance. It's immediately rejecting, right? While on the other hand, right, at the support, look what we're doing. We're hanging around the support here, coming back down multiple times, okay, and then retesting it, right? And then we hang around the support as well, right? It is clearly shown right here, right? And last week as well too, okay? So this is kind of telling me that potentially, we might just negate this bullish descending channel and completely decide to negate it and break to the downside instead of to the upside. Now, tomorrow is FOMC minutes, right? And it's going to give us a nice summary of what the Federal Reserve has talked about in the last 2 weeks, okay? So, depending on what these minutes say, all right, we can have another harsh rejection again at the level of resistance here, or we can actually just pump up. I mean, just based off today's action as well, there's a lot of support building up whenever we cross below this this intraday micro bear flag within this bullish descending channel, right? So we have overlaying contradicting chart patterns, right? So with that in mind, okay, since we have contradicting chart patterns here, we've been getting a lot of chop as well. But the chop is also due to the fact that we're still just basically consolidating and forming this bearish intraday flag on the 2-hour time frame, or all on the hourly time frames. And right now, currently, we're making a nice bounce. SPY futures is up 25 points, I believe, 22 points. So it's a little more than half a percentage here. Not bad. No, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I expected a green open, a nice little tiny gap up as well, because, well, based off of today's action and based off today's last hourly close, right? We've had a pretty bullish end today. But we just can't forget that we have the price still stuck within this bearish flag. We have the flagpole right here and the flag, right? So if we're going to see some good follow through on this bear flag, we need to break and stay below this ascending support trend line here. All right, we've already bounced and came back up above the flag multiple times here. Okay. Did everyone understand that so far? Right? Okay, so my kind of level of interest where I want to see another rejection on the 2-hour time frame is actually right now. Okay, so so far we saw a rejection that opened today on futures, but we weren't able to kind of follow through. Instead, we're now seeing an actual bounce, and we're actually crossing the kind of the line in the sand here around 3,960-ish level, but we still had to retest. Okay, we still have to retest this ascending resistance level, which is around 3,970-ish. So if we do decide to come back down after retesting it, then we can possibly test this ascending support again. But depending on tomorrow, to be honest, we might just break above like we did last time here, and then retest this descending level of resistance, which is a lot more crucial compared to this one. It's a lot more significant compared to this resistance. Okay, so on the daily time frame, it's a lot better to focus on, I would say, actually, no, I retract the statement. On the daily time frame, I would say if we do break out of this descending channel, there's a possibility that we can even retest the daily 21 SMA, and that might actually be good for the long-term downtrend, because we haven't retested the 21 SMA in quite a long time actually. We've just been retesting this descending resistance, and the only time we retested the 21 SMA was right here, right, when we actually start to fall down, and we made that nice bearish flag, and we continued to break down to the downside, right? So if we have a nice retest of the 21 SMA and we reject off of it, which will be our second retest ever since what was the date here? April 21st, right? So it's been over 2 months here, right? Not over 2 months, excuse me. It's been it's been over a little over a month now. It would be nice to have a little tiny relief bounce and then a nice rejection. But again, if we reject off of this descending resistance again, which I wouldn't be surprised, because I mean, why would I be surprised? Whenever we came back up to it, we just immediately rejected, right? A really bearish candlestick formed after retesting it. So, if we retest it again and come back down tomorrow, let's say the initial reaction to the FOMC minutes will be a nice pump to the upside to have us retest this resistance, and then the second reaction will be to the downside, right? And like I said, whenever the Fed speaks, the market reaction, the second market reaction is the true market reaction. The initial one is usually it's kind of like the FOMO reaction, whether it be to the downside or to the upside. So, and usually the second reaction is usually the opposite of what the initial reaction was. So I would initially wait, kind of near the end of the day to determine where the price is going to go. Okay, so tomorrow is kind of like the day where you don't want to be trading, especially if you're day trading. But we're also at a crucial area with the price levels. Okay, so if you're day trading, there's a good chance that you have a lot of opportunities because based off of the price levels that we have. So now let's kind of segue into SPY here. So SPY looks a little bit more ugly compared to ES. ES is a lot more, SPY futures is a lot more cleaner right now, price action wise, and it's always has been, by the way. But SPY here is, we did fill in the gap here today, and we rejected after filling that gap. And the 2-hour time frame, we're seeing a converging levels of resistance. So what I mean by that is, actually, it should be right here. So we had the 50 SMA on the 2-hour time frame and this descending level of resistance, right? So with this combination, I wouldn't be surprised the initial reaction to FOMC minutes will be a big pump to retest both the 50 SMA and this descending level of resistance. And then once that happens, the second secondary reaction will be a rejection. Okay, that's kind of what I'm seeing there. But the vice versa can be the same as well. The complete opposite can be the same as well, right? When the initial reaction is to the downside, and then we retest a specific level of support, like around I would say like 388, and then we absolutely pump on the secondary reaction. So who knows? But the fact that we've broken out this this wedge pattern, or this symmetrical triangle chart pattern, which is, they're both synonymous, wedge and symmetrical triangle, the synonymous names. This bullish breakout, it could be kind of a indicating sign that we can break out of this descending channel here. I mean, we've had the sign last time as well, right here, right, where we had this nice flag. Okay, make that green. Right, we had a flag bar here, and then a nice macro flag, right, macro bullish flag, and then we broke out and then retested the resistance and immediately gapped down, right? So tomorrow, since we're now within the vicinity of this descending level of resistance, okay, and the fact that futures is not seeing a nice gap down just yet, we might be able to see a nice breakout tomorrow, right, and retest 400 right here, right, and then eventually 405. Right, which is our next major level of resistance that we need to retest, and most likely going to get rejected off of if we do break out tomorrow. So those are kind of your levels that you need to be watching out for. I would say if you want to play a breakout to the upside tomorrow, I would say wait until we are able to get above the 50 SMA on a 2-hour time frame here, and this descending level of resistance, which also coincides with the 398 resistance level, which we've been looking at for the past few trading days, including last week, right, over here. So this 398 level has been used as a level of support multiple times, right, as we saw in this micro bullish flag, and as a level of resistance multiple times over here, and over here, right? So this is a very formidable resistance here, and there's a lot of sellers residing at the 398 level. So if we're able to break above that, we'll retest 400, and we'll most likely see a big pump above 400 until we hit 405.10ish. Okay, so that's kind of your levels for SPY tomorrow. Very, very simple. If we do break down, okay, let's go into more data. Let's get some more data here on my chart. So if you go down tomorrow, we're gonna see a lot of chop if we go down, because we'll be starting to come back. We'll come back right back into this wedge here, and we're gonna see a lot of a lot of support at 390, 389, and then eventually 388 or around 387.50, right, if we decide to come back down. So most likely we're gonna have a choppier price action if we decide to come back down compared to a nice breakout to the top, right? So those are kind of our intraday levels, right? 390, 389, and 387.50 to around 388. Okay, so if you want to play on either side, those are your levels. Good luck tomorrow on SPY. If you're trying to play FOMC minutes tomorrow, I would highly recommend to just stick with SPY. Okay, I mean, it would be kind of prudent to focus on SPY and just one name only, because I don't want you guys to be trading different tickers here and there. It'll be better to have just one focus on the one ticker, especially on a day like tomorrow, where everything can be very, 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 very volatile, because it's the Fed, right? The Feds bring a lot of volatility to the market, especially during the FOMC meetings, and especially when Jerome Powell speaks as well, J. Powell. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of basically it for SPY. Does anyone have any questions? It's going to be a pretty boring day, to be honest, tomorrow. Netflix and AMD. a little water. Netflix and AMD. Yeah, so Netflix has been basing here. Take a look at the RSI and MACD here. Okay, yeah, these two are not telling me anything. Okay. I mean, this is the reason why they're called indicators, right? They're lagging indicators. But price action wise, I don't see Netflix taking out any of the supply up here anytime soon, to be honest. So there's a lot more downside for this name, to be honest. We can see a revisit of 160 again, 165, I believe. Yeah, around 165. Okay, this would be a nice area to be. Let me just use one of these lines. Yeah, 165. There we go. So we're just starting to base here because of the fact that we've gone down so much on Netflix. I mean, guys, right? We were at what? I think Netflix was at 600. Oh, 700. Never mind. And now we're back down to 180. All right. So it dropped more than 600. Well, around 600 points. Okay. Well, less than 600 points. But you know, at this point here with Netflix, I would say it's gonna take years, to be honest, to recover, to go back to like maybe at least like $300 per share. That's where I see value with Netflix. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if you start coming back down lower, almost near $100, because Netflix is they're really struggling here as a company. So, you know, the fundamental wise, that's what I think. But technical wise, I mean, this looks pretty bearish. I mean, tech had a really hard time today to even, you know, try to recover. I mean, the whole market was starting to bounce except for tech and all the other sectors. And the four sectors that are really strong today were like energy, healthcare, consumer discretionary, and stuff like that, and utilities. And those are defensive sectors, right? And if they had a nice day today and there's a lot of money flowing to them, right before FOMC minutes, that could be telling us something, right? So I would say Netflix tomorrow can be actually having a nice breakdown to the downside. If you want to see a nice break to the downside, we have to be underneath 176, I believe. Yeah, around 176. So if you break below 176, there's a good chance that we come back down and retest 165 again for Netflix. Okay, AMD, right? So AMD, oh, well, this was last week's, or no, was it last week's? I don't remember. Anyways, doesn't matter. I think that was last week's, yeah. So AMD, nice breakdown to the downside. Still, this was, I gave this to you guys on the live last week, I think. Yeah, last week. I think last Thursday. And on Friday, we got that follow through of this rising wedge. And we broke to the downside. So hopefully you guys made some money on that. But AMD here, very weak. All right. So this initial downtrend to this breakdown out of this rising wedge started this new downtrend again. But at the same time, okay, we're seeing another broadening. Okay, let me put another. We're seeing another broadening channel here, ascending channel, which is bearish as well. So we have two bearish chart patterns here, right? Well, the first one has been broken, okay, but now we have a second one here, which is now a broadening ascending channel. So there could be another bounce on AMD tomorrow, especially if the markets decide to bounce, like I said. But you know, I hardly ever think that AMD is going to see $100 anytime soon again. We tried to come up above it already 2 times and we failed 2 times. So, you know, like I said, guys, if a stock decides to lose that legendary $100 level, the triple digit number, it usually has a hard time getting back over it. Okay. So I think AMD would definitely have a hard time getting back on over that 100 in the next even few years, to be honest, because this demand and supply woes that the semi industry is currently facing right now is not positive anymore. And the fact that you know, just because supply is low, that they have to you know, raise prices on their chips, right? That's not the case anymore. That's not seen as a bullish stance anymore on companies right now because, well, there's increasing demand still, or there's still increasing demand, and the fact that the supply hasn't been, there hasn't been more supply now, and supply still is struggling, right? It's starting to look bad now because they're not able to fulfill orders, right? If there's no orders, then that means no revenue, right? So this is actually starting to squeeze the semiconductor industry now. So with these supply and demand woes, I think we're starting to see the breakdown of the semiconductor industry. If you take a look at SMH here, all right. I provided a nice short entry here a while back, and we're what? More than, well, around 50 points, or like 40, around 40 points here, 45 plus points here. So, this, the semiconductor ETF here looks really, really bearish. The line in the sand here is around, I would say around 220. Okay, let me move this. Jesus. So 220 is the line in the sand for the semiconductor ETF here, and I don't see the semiconductor industry recover anytime soon, to be honest. I mean, the recovery is going to be a long road ahead because, well, the supply and demand is not recovering anytime soon as well, right? So I would say AMD is bearish, but NVIDIA has earnings as well. So depending on how they report on how they're dealing with the supply chain issues on the semis here, I think could provide a nice roadmap to what the other semis are going to be dealing with this crisis that they have in their hands. So I mean, NVIDIA is the one of the leaders in the sector and industry here. So depending on how they're handling it and how their current their past quarterly results were, we'll see if NVIDIA is actually struggling or they're somehow going through this supply chain squeeze here. But yeah, so that's kind of it for Netflix and AMD, Dion. I kind of dragged that out for a little too long, but I kind of want to go deep into what I think about both of them. But yeah, I mean, there's really not much to do tomorrow. I would say just watch. That's probably the most financially prudent thing to do for your trading accounts for everyone. So, I mean, there's not much to do tomorrow, to be honest, really. Just watch the levels. If there's an opportunity to play tomorrow, most likely the trades are going to be a few seconds long. I don't expect much. Of course. Dion, thank you for staying in this live stream. It's really late. A lot of my East Coast people are probably asleep right now, which is why we don't have a lot of viewers today right now. But we've had 8 viewers so far, but it seems like most of them have gone to sleep since it's past 12 now on the East Coast. But before I leave, actually, let's take a look at features again. So we have 2 viewers here right now. So yeah, I mean, okay. So we've actually broken this resistance here now. So who knows? Overnight, when European markets open European markets start to open one at a time. I think from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. I believe. I think that's Pacific Standard Time, PST. I think. I don't really check futures much, but I only focus on U.S. Equity markets futures. I don't look at the European markets, but I believe it was like 1 a.m. to 3 p.m. is when they start to open one by one. The European countries, and I think Asian markets come on in a few hours. I think like 2, or are they open already right now? Actually, I don't know, guys. I don't check the international futures market too much. I just kind of generally know when they open because, well, futures are affected by international markets as well because they trade overnight, right? So markets are open. And on the other side of the world, right? It's daytime over there, and in the other side of the world. So that's why we have futures market, right? They're tracking kind of the international and global affairs of what's happening in the economy and the markets around the world. So yeah, for futures here, you know, if I take out, you know what, let's actually take out these lines here, this bear flag, right? This also looks like a nice consolidation, to be honest, and we're heading straight for that resistance again, right? So if we break out tomorrow, I mean, hey, if we break above that 4,000 tomorrow on futures here, there's a good chance we retest 4,050, okay? Which should also translate to around $405, right? $405, like I said on SPY, right? So, you know, that's gonna be a nice move, right? That's a huge move tomorrow if we see that breakout, thanks to FOMC minutes. And we've been seeing selling kind of slow down as well. So who knows? Maybe the sellers have capitulated here, but it's all going to depend on FOMC. But yeah, that's kind of it for tonight. The live on Wednesday will be a lot more insightful, guys. It will be a lot more insightful than today. I really don't have much to tell you guys for SPY, just those initial levels that I gave you for SPY. So if you guys are just joining in now, make sure you guys look at the recording for SPY. Well, recording for this live, because I go over the SPY levels around, I think, maybe around the 15-minute mark. I think 15 to 17-minute mark here on this live stream. So make sure you guys go take a look at that. But with that, have a great rest of your night. Okay. I'll see all the CFS Rewatch members who are on the live right now back in Discord. And yeah, so good luck. Make sure you guys do not trade tomorrow if you guys don't want to, because FOMC minutes. You guys do not want to be trading when it's volatile, especially when it's induced by the Fed. All right. And just observe. Right, just observe. You'll be happy that you guys observe, because, well, we usually get a clear direction after the FOMC minutes, which is why Wednesday will be a lot more interesting. Right, we'll get an actual trend. Okay. All right. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.